This is Chancellor Zabanda with the news on Zodiac. The headlines this hour. Lilongwe City Council takes down sculpture built by former First Lady Gertrude Mutarika's Beautify Malawi Trust. Women's rights bodies spend Speaker of Parliament to make public report on park interviews with Martha Jizuma. Ministry of Health to destroy close to 20,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine next week Wednesday. And elsewhere, South Africa-born entrepreneur pledges $200 million for African vaccines. We now give you the news in detail. The Lilongwe City Council is finally taking down a sculpture that was erected by former First Lady Gertrude Mutarika's charity organization Beautify Malawi Trust at Parliament Building roundabout in the capital city. The move comes barely a month after Deputy Minister of Local Government Harima Daudi ordered the council to demolish the structure because, according to the ministry, it was meaningless. The council's mayor, Juliana Kaduya, says besides adding no value, Beautify Malawi Trust erected the sculpture without seeking consent from the council. We have a report.
The Beautify Malawi Trust BIM, founded by former First Lady Gertrude Mutarika, constructed the sculpture at Parliament roundabout in Lilongwe, which some residents wondered what it stood for. Last month, Deputy Minister of Local Government Harima Daudi directed the Lilongwe City Council to demolish the structure. The council has now started demolishing it, with its mayor Juliana Kaduya saying despite that it has no meaning, the presidential highway on which it stands is an important street which needs good and meaningful structures. She adds that Beautify Malawi Trust erected the sculpture without seeking consent, let alone informing the council.
You don't even know the meaning of this structure anyway. You don't even know the name. And the residents, even the visitors, the tourists, even people who comes out from Lilongwe City, those people who are visiting Lilongwe City, they are even questioning us that what is this thing. So after the outcry of the people, we have thought of removing this thing.
A Lilongwe resident, Robert Mangwiro, says the structure was an eyesore as nobody could decipher what it was and its meaning, hence it is good news.
I'm one of the excited citizens of this country, especially here in Lilongwe, where each time when we are passing around this roundabout, we could get surprised, get wondering, what is happening, what is this thing? You could not even describe this thing. And someone said, an indescribable thing in our town, city Lilongwe. Each citizen passing around this area could think, look around, chase, what is this? It's not bringing any meaning to us. I wish there was something that you could relate to with our society, with our country, maybe the heroes that have gone before us who have done great things here in Malawi. But looking at this thing here, the statue here, you could not describe it in any way. They didn't even put any signage to say, okay, this is what we are trying to do or portraying to Malawi.
Lilongwe City Council alone contributed 35 million kwacha towards the project. Our attempts to talk to BIM Trust have been futile. Reporting for Zodiac, this is Western Guta.
A consortium of women rights bodies has written Speaker of National Assembly Catherine Gotani Hara to make public information on Tuesday's interview the Public Appointments Committee PAC held with Martha Jizuma on her appointment as Anti-Corruption Bureau's new Director General. Lead advocates NGO Gender Coordination Network and Women Lawyers Association in their statement say they are saddened with PAC's decision to withhold Chizuma's appointment. The committee was on Wednesday ordered to furnish the August House this coming Monday, May 17, with a comprehensive report on how the interviews were conducted to deliberate on the way forward. Chimoe Padata reports. Meanwhile, a group of civil society organizations has vented its anger on Parliament's Public Appointments Committee PAC's decision, describing it as an insult to the Gender Equality Act. Citizen Alliance Director Edward Chireka Banda says moving forward, there are a number of resolutions which the civil society will come up with if Jizuma is not considered for the job as ACB boss.
The civil society organizations say Jizuma is the right choice for the post after her stellar performance as ombudsman, hence the National Assembly's decision to renew her contract when it expired recently. They feel she has been rejected under the influence of political interference after she committed herself to finishing off a backlog of corrupt cases that have stalled for so long. Meanwhile, the CSOs have come up with a number of resolutions that include a demand for interviews for higher public offices to be be done openly with access to coverage for local media for the general public to follow and give their own opinions. Edward Chileka Banda chairs the Citizen Alliance.
As civil society, we have lost trust in the current Public Accounts Committee, and we are demanding that this committee should be reconstituted, and I think it cannot handle national matters in this way. We are also bemoaning the attendance of Public Appointments Committee, the way they treated these interviews, by scoring a professional career woman like Martha Chizuma 1 out of 25. And we get reports that even some members of parliament of this committee walked into the interview room just the last 5 minutes and still scored her 1 out of 25. We think that is an insult to the intelligence of many, the Malawians, and I think we are calling for a dissolution of this particular committee.
NGO Gender Coordinating Network Executive Director Barbara Banda described Martha Chizuma's rejection as an insult to the empowerment of the Gender Equality Act, which seeks to promote capable women.
It's very retrogressive. For example, we have been calling for the implementation of the Gender Equality Act. Previously, we had that we were being asked, where are the women? And we are saying, here is the woman who is qualified. And Parliament rejects that woman. So we believe this is a gender card that is being played. And it is a process that is taking this country back by not respecting the laws that the same Parliament did establish. So for us, we are saying this whole process is smelling of some underhand. We want to know exactly why we are at this point, what has caused the result that we are seeing.
The rejection of Martha Chizuma as Anti-Corruption Bureau Director General came barely a day after she nullified recruitments of some Makra top officials, saying they flouted procedures.
National Youth Anti-Corruption Network has been launched to help empower the youth in combating corruption. National coordinator for the network, Chikondi Njaya, says reports indicate that culprits use the youth in the malpractice, hence the need to empower them to guard their future. You have this report by Alinafe Mlamba.
Speaking during the launch of the National Youth Anti-Corruption Network, National Coordinator for the network, Chikondi Njaya, said it is sad to know that youths are being victims of corruption, hence the need for collective efforts in dealing with the vice.
So we are here to complement to the government efforts that are there in making sure that we don't have corruption, and we're actually creating a free, corruption-free Malawi. In the near future, we should be singing a different song.
According to the Deputy Director for the Anti-Corruption Bureau, Jonathan Chisale, the idea of having a youth anti-corruption network started in 2018 after noting that the youths in various sectors are being used in corrupt practices knowingly or unknowingly.
The future of Malawi is in their hands. The elderly population will be gone. They will be left with this country when the others are gone. If they allow the resources of our nation to be depleted by a generation that's bound to be corrupt, then they will remain with nothing. They will remain with a poor nation without anything.
Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture Ule Msungama has since pledged government support towards the initiative.
Almost all sectors will be interested to support because it is a fight against corruption. Corruption is everywhere. So all I was trying to say is that they should be able to reach out to as many organizations, private sector, a lot of you, to get support. So if the vision is clear, they should be able to get support. So, but what matters most is what are they going to do with that? Because that is a big test for them.
The National Youth Anti-Corruption Network becomes the first ever youth initiative to deal with corruption in Malawi.
The Malawi Police Service says it has managed to restore trust with the public that was eroded due to unprofessional conduct of some law enforcers in the northern region over the years. Senior Deputy Commissioner of Police for the North, Maximus Bakari, has told Zodiac that this has been achieved through continuous public awareness meetings they are holding in the country. Meanwhile, the law enforcement agency is training close to 40 officers on natural disasters management in the wake of predictions by the Meteorological Service that Malawi will experience disasters this year. Steve Zimba reports.
For years, relationship and trust between Malawi Police Service and the public has been fragile, resulting into the law enforcement organization losing property like roadblocks and vehicles that have been targeted by angry citizens following misunderstandings. Some senior officers have, of late, attributed to poor conduct and unreasonable decisions by the men in uniform. Now the police say they have restored trust with the public, disclosing that, among other gains, the community is now reporting offenders to the police for action.
So they are coming up, we are building up that relationship. As at now, no, the relationship is back to normal. We have been getting so many tips from the community. We have been arresting so many people through the community. That shows that our cordial relationship is now back. We are now enjoying. People are enjoying.
That's Senior Deputy Commissioner of Police for the North, Mr. Maximus Bakali. He was speaking on the sidelines of a training on disaster management for 40 police officers drawn from all Mzuzu police station formations, which is being facilitated by the Catholic Health Commission of the Mzuzu Diocese. Head of the commission, Marvelous Matope, says the officers will be drilled in psychosocial first aid support that would be given to survivors of disasters.
People who are affected, they go through a lot of trauma, and at the end or during the course, they will need to be counseled, to face the reality after the disaster has struck them. So in that psychosocial first aid component, there is that kind of training that is going to equip our officers to provide such kind of counseling.
Mzuzu is one of the disaster-prone cities in the country, as this year alone, more than 1,200 residents have survived. For Zodiac in Mzuzu, this is Steve Zimbad reporting.
Over 60 banana farmers in Palombe have expressed dismay with delays by government to distribute new banana suckers 2 years after it ordered them to uproot the old variety in the wake of banana bunch top disease. One of the farmers, Lloyd Machado, has told Zodiac that the delay is impacting negatively on the lives of farmers since they rely on the crop to generate income for their families. Palombe Chief of Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources, David Ali, has attributed the delay to lack of cooperation by farmers and chiefs to uproot the bananas. Ronek Chiwanda has filed this report.
One of the farmers, Lloyd Machado, has told us that in 2019, officials from the Department of Agriculture ordered all banana farmers to uproot old banana varieties to avoid spreading diseases. Machado says most banana farmers complied with the order, but 2 years down the line, they have not received any banana suckers, a development which is affecting their lives economically. Meanwhile, an economic expert, Mirwal Tobias, has described the delay as unfortunate, saying as an agro-based economy, the country should not continue importing bananas. Tobias says government should ensure that farmers have been provided with new banana suckers to boost their livelihood.
In terms of the overall economy, the implication is that if we are not producing bananas ourselves, then we are importing bananas. And I know for some time we have been eating bananas from Tanzania. It's possible we are still buying bananas from Tanzania now. And that's a drain to foreign exchange. And it also means that if we are agro-based economy, we can't be importing the same agro-based outputs. Then it defeats the whole essence of having agriculture as our niche for the economy. So it is very unfortunate.
However, Palombe Chief of Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources, David Ali, has attributed the delay to lack of compliance by farmers since his office cannot provide the suckers to few farmers to avoid spreading the disease.
You're watching the news on Zodiac. We'll be back after this short break.
Like every mom, you want the best for your child.
Happy birthday.
You feed her mind and nurture her body. And you understand there are times you have to let her pick herself up when she falls. You make sure she knows the joy of sharing happy moments with family. And when everything comes together, you above all others will share the taste of success with her. Blue Band tastes like mama's love.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy? Protex! Good health starts here.
Kungwonjezera mayunits ATNM kuyambira 200 kwacha kapena kuposera pamenepo mutha kukhala mmodzi mwa mamilioneya mu TNM Tikolole promotion. Koma mukaonjezera mayunits ndi 100 kwacha kapena kuposerapo mudzilandira mabonus oyimbira foni, SMS kapena data pompo.
TNM, always with you. Like every mom, you want the best for your child.
Happy birthday.
You feed her mind and nurture her body. And you understand there are times you have to let her pick herself up when she falls. You make sure she knows the joy of sharing happy moments with family. And when everything comes together, you above all others will share the taste of success with her. Blue Bag tastes like mama's love.
Welcome back. The headlines as we continue with the news. Lilongwe City Council takes down sculpture built by former First Lady Gertrude Mutarika's Beautify Malawi Trust. Women's rights bodies pen Speaker of Parliament to make public report on park interviews with Martha Chizuma. Ministry of Health to destroy close to 20,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine next week Wednesday. And elsewhere, South Africa-born entrepreneur pledges $200 million for African vaccines. Now moving on with the news, Ministry of Health has set Wednesday, May 19 as a date to incinerate close to 20,000 doses of expired COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Charles Mwansambo, told Zodiac the number of expired vaccines has risen from the initial 16,000 following a physical count that was conducted on all expired doses. Chimwe Badata reports.
19,610 doses are those that are to be incinerated after the Ministry of Health collected all expired doses from all the districts. The doses were part of 102,000 jabs the country received from the African Union. They had, however, a short lifespan of only 2 weeks. 2% of these jabs are those that were administered. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Charles Mwansambo, told us the number of expired jabs has risen after the Ministry of Health conducted a physical count on all expired doses.
19,610 doses. This is after we've checked what was given and what has what was collected from the district. So these are the ones that we're incinerating on Wednesday. What we provided earlier was what was in the papers, but when we went out to physically collect, that this is the actual amount that we are incinerating.
A health rights activist, Maziko Mademba, feels the decision will boost the trust of Malawians on safety of the vaccines.
So I'm hoping this will help in future that we don't destroy vaccines, but we encourage more people to get vaccinated, because that's also a effective vaccine.
Ministry of Health delayed incineration of the jabs as it was awaiting clearance from the Office of the Public Procurement and Dispose of Assets, PPDA. For Zodiac, this is Chimwemwe Padata.
A youth organization in Nzuzu has beckoned Minister of Youth Ulemu Sungama to provide information regarding delays in the construction of the multi-million Kwacha Youth Center despite approval funds in past budgets for implementation of the project. Nzuzu Youth Association Coordinator Francis Chirambo says they are still waiting for response from the Anti-Corruption Bureau on their request to investigate the matter 3 years ago. Both Minister of Sports Ulemu Sungama and ACB spokesperson Egrit Ndala have pushed the blame to communication breakdown with the youth group as their offices are working to fix the matter. Toera Kumwenda filed this report.
For a decade, governments have come and gone, promising to construct the Nzuzu Youth Center, but nothing has materialized. Speaking to journalists in Nzuzu, a youth grouping under the banner Nzuzu Youth Association blamed both Ministry of Youth and the Anti-Corruption Bureau on the delays of the construction works of the Nzuzu Youth Center. The association's coordinator, Francis Chirambo, says it is unfortunate that the ministry keeps unjustified promises on the project. Apart from accusing the Ministry of Youth, Chirambo also faulted SCB for failing to provide information on a complaint of funds they lodged some 3 years ago.
They have to stop politicizing this project. It's a national development project. Now, politics aside, they have to implement it. It is a long overdue project. Secondly, SCB must come in. The delay shows that somewhere, somehow, maybe the other government sector is trying to deliberately suffocate the process so that they create a room for corruption.
Minister Olem Sungama, however, says though he will not be able to meet the youth, his office is working tirelessly so that the construction works of the center can commence before mid-June this year.
There was also a delay from the PDA, which took about 2 months, which I couldn't do anything. So these are all this procedure. I think they just have to be patient. But like I promised, we are going to do this project as soon as possible. The contractor will be on the site.
And spokesperson for the Anti-Corruption Bureau, Egrid Andala, said investigation on the matter are still underway, as such could not disclose any information.
Investigation has been launched, only that they are at a point where maybe it may be difficult for me to start diverting more information since the investigation is still underway.
The youths have since given the ministry 21 days to commence construction or they will hold a mass demonstration. For Zodiak in Nzuzu, I'm Toera Kumwenda.
Across the borders, South African-born pharmaceutical entrepreneur Patrick Soon-Shiong has said that his family's foundation will spend $211 million to help develop vaccine production in South Africa. Dr. Soon-Shiong, who is now based in the US, made his fortune in drug development in the US, but on access to means to fight the spread of COVID-19 that he wanted the donation to transfer the know-how around vaccine development and build self-sufficiency and innovation. At the moment, the continent is not able to produce its own COVID vaccines and has only received a small fraction of what is needed to cover the majority of the population. Dr. Soon-Shiong said he was concerned about the variants that have been prevalent in India and says second-generation vaccines now need to be developed. And that's about what we had time for in this news edition. But before we go, another look at the headlines. Lilongwe City Council takes down sculpture built by former First Lady Gertrude Mutarika's Beautify Malawi Trust. Women's rights bodies penned Speaker of Parliament to make public report on Park's interviews with Martha Chizuma. Ministry of Health to destroy close to 20,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine next week, Wednesday. And elsewhere, South African-born entrepreneur pledges $200 million for Africa vaccines. Visit our website, zodiacmalawi.com, for more news. My name is Chansimlo Zabanda. Thanks for watching.